In this video, I want to talk about the 4 avoidance behaviors that are probably keeping you socially anxious and lonely. Now, what is an avoidance behavior? It's exactly what it sounds. It's a behavior that you do that allows you to avoid a problem, a pain, or something else. But by avoiding it, then you're accepting that you're afraid of it, and then the problem continues. So that's how it works with social anxiety. If you're avoiding the pain, or you're avoiding social anxiety, you're telling yourself you're afraid, and the cycle continues. So the first thing that I see people doing a lot every time I go in public, which is an avoidance behavior, is pulling out the phone or constantly wearing headphones. I don't know, you've probably done this at least one time, but I see guys do it every day. I'm walking towards a guy or I'm walking towards a chick, and the person sees me and they immediately pull out their phone. They stare down at their phone as they're walking past. They completely ignore me. And what this is, it's the same thing a baby would do to calm themselves with a pacifier. You're basically using this as an emotional regulation tool or for escapism to put your attention on your phone rather than in the present moment so that you can run away and hide because you're afraid. But the problem is you're avoiding. You're doing this avoidance behavior. You're telling yourself, you keep reinforcing the fact that you're afraid rather than if I was just to exist in the moment, put my phone in my pocket, focus on what I'm doing next or being in the moment, on my body or the person that's in front of me. It's kind of similar with headphones actually too. I hear this advice that, wearing headphones, listening to music, it calms anxiety, but really this is just another avoidance behavior. And I used to always listen to music when I was in the gym, but I did an experiment starting about 4 months back where I completely stopped listening to music in the gym actually. So I go to the gym, no music, and then because I'm not blasting my eardrums anymore. Now I want to socialize more. It naturally motivates me to seek, social connection. So I found myself talking to way more girls. I found myself making more friends in the gym. And, when you have your headphones in, you look like someone that's unapproachable. So you're going to continue to be alone. You're going to continue to just exist in la la land and not be in the present. If you're always listening to podcasts, audiobooks, whatever, music, and I'm not saying it's bad to do it sometimes, but the problem is if you're using it as an avoidance behavior, which oftentimes people aren't honest about it, that they are. So the next major thing that's holding you back from being more confident is getting all of your romantic prospects from online dating, whether that's Tinder, Hinge, Instagram, Bumble. But this is avoiding doing the actual courageous thing, which is, as you know, going into public, talking to girls, introducing yourself to girls. It's, any person can download an app, pay for premium, and like swipe 100 times. It takes zero courage, it takes zero skill, and you might as well just, not do it at all, really, because you're not gaining any skills out of it. You're actually wasting your time more often than not using these apps. If you want to get better with skill, you need to do the real thing. But the problem is it takes a bit of courage, and in today's society, instant gratification, in a world of technology, anything that's remotely hard is just going to get avoided by 90% of the population. Now, if you're able to get out in public, if you're able to overcome the initial fear, you're going to reap the benefits, which not many guys are doing in a setting where there's not alcohol or anything else involved. You're just dead sober, going out talking to girls. You're going to reap the benefits of that because a lot of guys aren't doing it. And then also your game is going to, become incrementally better. You're going to gain more confidence. And then also, not to mention the fact that when it comes to attracting girls, when it comes to dating girls, there's a real connection when you're in person. You can see them, you can hear their voice, you can see their body language. I can touch them, flirt with them. You don't have that same sort of, leverage when you're just texting a girl and they're looking at your pictures from a phone. It's very hard, I wouldn't say it's very hard, but it's much more difficult than to do it in person. So there's that. So that's avoidance behavior number 2. Avoidance behavior number 3 is substituting real human connection, friendship for online. Once again, there are guys who have zero friends, yet all they do is watch podcasts, play video games. They might, have some online video game friends, but what this is doing is it's tricking your brain into thinking you have real friends. I don't know if you've ever heard of the term parasocial relationship, but the full severity, like I would say the worst example of this would be like a stalker thinking that they're married to like Taylor Swift. And the less severe, less creepy end of the spectrum, it's just someone who like is watching YouTube videos, watching podcasts, and their brain is being tricked into thinking that they're getting social connection because they see a face, they hear talking, but really they're not communicating with this person at all. They're not getting any sort of emotional support, any sort of real friendship, camaraderie experience. It's a one-sided relationship. So you need to be careful with this parasocial relationship. I think they should teach this to kids because it is real. You can be tricked, which is what these big tech companies want to do. They want to basically own all of your attention. They basically want to own your soul. So you need to get out of that cycle of avoiding real, human connection, introducing yourself, joining sports groups, joining clubs. You need to start doing that, basically, is what I'm saying. And I did the same thing when I was in high school. I was kind of like a lonely stoner, and I didn't want to talk to my classmates, so I just popped in my headphones, watched Joe Rogan all the time, and it allowed me to avoid having real human, real friendships. So that's avoidance behavior number 3. Avoidance behavior number 4, and this was a trend that was popular maybe a year to 2 years back, but I know you've heard of it, called monk mode. And the way that it was described, basically, you cut off all your friends, you don't have any hangouts, you just go into grind, you go into work mode for whether it's months or years. And the problem with this is socially isolating yourself. Number one, it's impossible. You're gonna be depressed. You're not gonna be able to work as much in a depressed state where you don't have social connection. I mean, it's a real psychological need. You can't simply just cut off all your friends and live as a hermit. That's number one. Number 2 is if you have this long period of monk mode, whatever you want to call it, now maybe you're a bit more successful, maybe you have a bit better physique, but that doesn't mean you have any more, social skills. Your social skills are gonna completely suffer. You're gonna have to start back from like a lower level. You don't just get rich, you don't just have a good physique and automatically be good at talking to women. No. You need to have the real life experience. I mean, it's just like learning anything else. It's like learning how to shoot a free throw. You have muscle memory from shooting a free throw to the point where you can do it like 5 times out of 7. It's the same thing. You don't have muscle memory just pop into your, you don't have, it doesn't pop into your head out of nowhere. You need to go out and talk to girls or your skills are going to suffer. And why not not to mention the fact that you're not going to have experiences. Like why would you want to wait until you're older to have friends, to have romantic experiences when you could do it when you're younger? And not to mention, you can practice with your social skills. You can practice with your whatever dating pickup game while you're advancing the other aspects of your life. So it always blows my mind that these dudes kind of use that as a cope. And I feel like there's a lot of dudes who will say that, oh, I'm focused on work right now. I'm working at my shitty job. when in reality, they just work a normal full-time job. It's not like they're Elon Musk where they're running 6 different companies. They're just working a normal job. They're working 40 hours a week and they're not scheduling, they're not using their time wisely enough to do the other things. So it's, unless you're running your own business, and even then you create your own schedule, but unless you're like literally trying to go to Mars, the time thing is normally just BS. It normally really is. So it's just another avoidance behavior. And if these dudes are really honest to themselves and they listen to their soul, they would really just admit that they're either lazy, they don't want to go out and introduce themselves, they lack the skill, so they're afraid of rejection, whatever. It's mostly like a combination of that. And then they lie to themselves. They say, I'm in monk mode. So that's basically the biggest 4 avoidance behaviors I see. There's a lot more, obviously. I mean, with the modern tech that we have now, it's endless. I mean, you have freaking VR porn now. But that's the top 4 that I see with clients. And that holds them back, really. It keeps them kind of like a weirdo. Now, if you can get over these 4 things and get into the real world, get into the present moment, you're gonna live much better, have a much better social life. Now, if you want more detailed like skills when it comes to confidence, when it comes to picking up women, that's where I come in. So schedule in the description a free consultation call with me, and then we can work on that. We can see what we can do for you. Now, I'm doing this for like about the next 5 people, so first come, first serve. I'll book in a call. Once again, link is in the description. So that's about it for this video. I guess I'll see y'all in the next video.